Oh no, I missed Halloween. That's because I came down with pneumonia. That is like the spookiest thing you could possibly have, as that's what killed Casper the Friendly Ghost, if you're ever wondering that. So that had me playing my handhelds, and one of my favorite ones is the PSP. So I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games. And today I'm gonna look at some spooky games for the PSP. Don't worry, none of them are really spooky.
Second Opinion Games.
First up, an import game. This is Undead Knights. This is your common hack and slash Dynasty Warrior style game, but it's mixed up with a little bit of zombie creation, as you could hack your enemies down to size and then turn them into zombies to use to fight the other enemies. Of course, it's not just that simple, because this is also a Pikmin game. That's right, there's zombie Pikmin that you could throw at things to make other things happen, like tear down a wall or build a bridge out of zombies and other stupid crap like that. Is it mindless fun? Yes, and that's what I want out of my PSP. Just like some of these mini games. Age of Zombies, a twin stick shooter that doesn't look like it would be out of place on the Super Nintendo, and you sort of travel through time as you clear levels, which means you're gonna start off in the Jurassic period, taking on a freaking T-Rex with a Uzi and a shotgun and pretty much anything else you can find. Don't forget to throw your grenades, and you're gonna die repeatedly because these zombies come in massive waves and you have tight quarters to take everything out. Whether you're taking out Al Capone or just some mummy zombies, that doesn't even make sense. But then again, it doesn't have to, because it's fun. Freakscape, Escape from Hell. This is actually a 2D puzzle platformer game, which you have to use the enemies on the screen to sort of launch yourself to other places. Later, you pick up a pitchfork, which means you could pick up your enemies with your stabby pitchfork and then use that in order to clear stages themselves. There is a lot of thinking here and a lot of dying. Luckily, you're already in hell, which means you have infinite lives, which means that with enough tenacity, you're gonna get through this wonderful game. And getting out of hell definitely seems like a good idea, just like escaping a lab with Jetpack Joyride. This is a single button game where you just sort of Flappy Birds your way through the level, collecting coins, picking up more weapons and more crazy suits of armor to blast through your area, and you want to kill as many scientists as possible, because let's face it, scientists haven't done anything for humanity anyway. The more you play the game, the more you unlock, and that's what makes it super addictive. It's really not that good of a game, but because you just have to see what's next to unlock, you believe me, you're gonna have a hard time putting it down. Fly Fu is probably the weirdest and dumbest beat 'em up I've ever played, as you play as a fly beating up other insects. Sometimes you go into rage mode and just completely tear these insects apart, and other times it's a one-on-one fighting game, but you don't really have that many special moves, which means it's extremely basic. This is fun for about an hour, and after that, you probably never want to play it again. Other than the times that you think, hey, what's the weirdest beat 'em up I ever tried? Yep, that was it, Fly Fu. Monster Probably Stole My Princess is a vertical platformer game where these giant monsters maybe stole your princess, but probably not. They turn out to be really cute characters, but that doesn't stop the Duke from beating them down. And you have to be near perfect to clear even the very first level of this game. It's difficult and it's fast paced, but it never ceases to be boring because you just want to climb as fast as possible, chain combos together, and beat down these monsters that are most likely completely innocent. And they're darn cute. Just like the ghosts in Run, Ghost, Run, this is essentially just a Pong or Buster Brothers clone, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I absolutely love Buster Brothers. So shooting these ghosts and making them blast into tinier ghosts in different stages is a winner with me. It's generic, but I'm completely fine with that if it's a great game. And I'm sure you want more ghosts. That's why I put Pac-Man Championship in here. Of course, you're just a little pellet-eating thing, and tons of ghosts are chasing you around the screen. However, there are power pellets everywhere, and some of the goals of the game is just trying to see how long you can last. Not in a traditional sense, because you might only have 5 minutes on the timer, or 10 minutes on the timer. Either way, I have a hard time trying to get to that 10-minute mark, let alone the 5-minute one. I kind of like Pac-Man, and this just settles me in for a great retro experience with a whole new bag of tricks. OMGZ is a different kind of puzzle game where you're a sniper trying to take out as many zombies as possible with only 3 bullets. Now, when you blow apart a zombie, it will blow apart and set off a chain reaction to blow apart a crap ton more. But you're gonna have to be very strategic in how you operate this, because some zombies are stronger than others, which means they might take on more than 1 bullet. So you have to focus on the weak ones, set up your shot, take your time, and then make them all explode. Boy, is this game a lot more difficult than what you might think it is. However, the fun factor is definitely here, watching all those zombies rip themselves apart. It's another simple but addictive game. In the simple beat 'em up genre, we have Left to Die in Zambahala. Okay, so it's just a straightforward game where your guy has a chainsaw or a machine gun. You can flip back and forth from a whole bunch of different weapons right off the start of the game. Of course, a machine gun or any type of gun is perfect for killing zombies, but sometimes you need a flamethrower or other things. You're just trying to get from right to left, and usually have to kill a certain amount of zombies before you can move on to the next segment, and none of the segments are that long, which means that the game actually feels like it goes on forever because the stages are so short. There's probably a crap ton of them. I played for an hour and I cleared like 100 stages, and I don't think I beat the game. So what's up with this? I don't understand it, and I'm probably never gonna come back to it, even if it is very satisfying killing zombies. But now let's take a look at some full-fledged releases and see how they stack up next to these minis. Ghost Rider. This feels like a dumbed-down version of a PS2 game, and essentially that's what the PSP is. It's like a console that you would play in your hands. It doesn't play nearly as good as the Game Boy Advance Ghost Rider game that made its own thing. Why did the PSP try to copy the consoles so freaking hard when it had great hardware to be able to do good 2D games? Unfortunately, we got this, and it just sort of feels like a mindless forever hack and slash. There are some RPG elements and upgrades going on, but I never really played it long enough to care about them that much. Death Jr., another dumbed-down console game. My favorite version is on the Nintendo Wii, where it actually feels like a blast to play. Here on the PSP, you have to use that stupid little thumb nub, and even though it is functional, I never fully got the hang of it, which means some of those pixel-perfect platforming segments are gonna be nearly impossible. Also, they changed the game slightly, so now you have to kill far more enemies before you can move on to the next section, and even though that might better suit the PSP for its format, I just don't find it nearly as interesting as, on the Wii. That's kind of weird that the Wii gets a win here. Prinnies, Can I Really Be a Hero? It's another game that I'd rather be playing on another console, like the Nintendo Switch, which got awesome re-releases. This is the first game in the series, even though I do believe the second one's better, but you should start with the first one if you're really gonna dive into it. You get to play as a Prinny, which is one of these things that explodes if they're barely touched at all. However, you have a magical scarf, which gives you a couple more hits. You get to go through Halloween-themed stages and slash apart enemies down to size. The game is extremely satisfying until you come to a boss battle, where you will die 1,000 freaking times because you have 1,000 lives to use. And oh my god, do these bosses ever take a crap ton of hits, just showing how weak the Prinnies actually are. But the highlight of the whole game is the writing. They'll be saying dude after every sentence, and I freaking love it. The storyline here is amazeballs, and it quickly became one of my all-time favorite games to play on the PSP. just like Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins. And this is a true Ghosts and Goblins experience, even though you could turn it to easy mode, which means when you die, you will respawn right where you were. Does this ruin the game? Well, let me tell you something. Does putting in a 30 life code for Contra ruin that? Heck no, it just makes you keep on playing it until you learn how to master the game itself, and then you could actually switch to a harder level of difficulty, which then you don't need that anymore. However, the PSP's controls sometimes are slippery, which means I'll die just because the controller, not because it's my own stupid fault. There's also tons of RPG elements here. There's huge bosses to take on, and this is one of the very best Ghosts and Goblin games out there, and it's sad that we don't have it on anything else to play. Please give me more of this. World Last Game took the idea of playing games that are stuck on other consoles and shoved them onto the PSP. So how'd they do? Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles is probably the very best PSP game out there. Not for the main game itself, but because it has one of the very best versions of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It also has Rondo of Blood on here, and it has a very capable version of Rondo of Blood, just remixed with ugly polygons and slightly different controls. But I still absolutely love this game. They made the end boss super difficult, like not just a little bit more difficult than Rondo of Blood, but like, oh my god, this is unbelievably tough. And it is a masterful game from start to finish because you actually have to learn your character or unlock Maria and learn that character up and down in order to complete this. If you already crushed Rondo of Blood, then you will have a great time completely learning this redesigned universe and crushing through that again. And having Symphony of the Night here just makes it that much sweeter. And that is why it is my favorite game to play on the PSP around Halloween. But of course, that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching.
Dude, you're in charge from now on. Why is there only this one scarf, dude? Don't worry, dude. If you go down, we'll just give it to whoever's next.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I had a great time making it, other than the fact that I haven't had a voice recently, which I'm sorry, it sounds like crap. But tell me what your favorite PSP game is in the comments down below. I also like the Mega Man series a lot, and some other good games for the system. It's just, I'd rather be playing it on my TV than on the system itself. Maybe we could have more games transfer over to the Switch or something like that in the future. But until later, I will see you again, guys.